states, myself, I'm Gagandeep. I'm a practicing this. There is no, one direct reason for this competition. There are many reasons. Moot courts are basically academic activities, and there are various moot courts: national level moot court, international level moot courts, international law moot courts, constitutional law moot courts, criminal law moot courts also. And there'll be a specific topic on which there'll be a moot problem and you're supposed to moot. So why you should participate in this moot court competition or this process of mooting? That question why, if you ask yourself, you can just I just let us be very interactive. I just wanted to know from you guys that what would be the reason behind mooting? Why we should participate in moot court competition? How will it help us?
Hi, Mr. Gagandeep. I'm Smita Garg this side. I
I'm
am,
a
I am a student. I am pursuing my law from CCS University, and I
okay.
am in the sixth semester currently. So basically, the point of having moot court is to just to have a brief idea about how the court works, so that
Hmm.
when we go to the court,
Hmm.
we are aware about the activities and how we should it should be presentable, and what all the process is, just
Hmm.
to have a fair idea about it.
Right, you are right. And any other answers or your inputs are very much necessary, because this moot court itself is an interactive activity, and we should be very talkative also, because the profession is like that, and this entire course is like that. You should talk. No, if there is a point, you should moot it. You should stand to your point that yes, this is the point which I want to do. And ma'am was very right. You get to acquaint with the actual legal setup. I mean, when you go before the court, how to address the court or how to behave, that mannerism, that that discipline will be taught in law schools by way of this moot court. And it's not a rigid thing, it's a very uh, flexible activity which takes place. I myself, I have participated in 6 to 7 national moot court competitions, and in one competition, I had an opportunity to get a runner-up trophy, that is national level SC Javali moot court competition, which was organized by Karnataka University. And I will share my entire experience as well as the use of this moot court, and you know what makes you after participating in many moot court competitions. So beginning with the coordinator, that is Akshay, he has very well designed the course, I would say, and we are three in team. I'll be introducing you to the course, and I'll take you to the depth of this course. I guess everyone have received your entire course brochure. I guess it is designed around 12 modules, and first module is with this concept of mood and entire introduction. What are the steps? What are the the design of the mood code? How it will be designed? How to draft memorial? So there are various things to learn. We'll learn it, and I'll get back to my question. The Question is, why should we moot? Why should we take part in moot court competitions? Was my question, and ma'am gave one answer, and there are various answers. And the first thing which I wanted to tell you personally is that the moot court thing or the moot court setup, which is followed by various law college across the country, it's not exactly like the practical, courts which are run by the very dynamic wing of our state. I mean, state means government, that is judiciary. Judiciary runs, very it plays a very important aspect with respect to administration of justice, because ultimately when our rights are under threat, if they are infringed, we will knock the doors of judiciary. And the setup which is actually set by the judiciary will be governed by procedural laws. That is, when it comes to civil courts, CPC is the Bible. When it comes to criminal courts, CRPC is the Bible. And CPC applies to, all civil matters, or, for example, in family courts where I practice, there even CPC is applicable. And these procedural laws govern this entire judicial setup. CPC, CRPC, Evidence Act, no, they govern our judicial system. But when it comes to moot court is like it is confined to one single problem. When it comes to moot court, it is confined to only one single problem. For example, tomorrow if my college conducts a moot court competition, a national level moot court competition, what we do is we design a moot problem, and that moot problem is of something, a practical problem which has already happened, or maybe imaginary also. What we do is we find a problem. I mean, it should be disputable. It should be contested by both the parties. If I file a writ petition by the petitioner as well as respondent, so it will be confined to one problem. There'll be a problem, and what will be there in that problem is that there'll be facts. We call it as facts of the moot problem or facts of the given case. So what you should do is you should read the entire facts of the case at least more than 5 to 10 times. This is because a single reading can't, make you get acquainted with the facts. If you read for the second time, third time, fourth time, every time you get a point in your head that, okay, this will be the point. If I'm a petitioner, this will be the fact which will be helpful. If I'm a respondent, this will be the point which is very helpful. So as I told, there will be a problem, and you should read the facts of the problem. And after reading the facts of the problem, in most of the national moot court competitions nowadays, the issues have been already framed. You'll get ready issues. In some, difficult national level moot court competitions, what actually happens is they don't frame issues. It is only because they want you to frame issues, because that's a skill. That's a skill. By reading facts of the case, you should, uh, be in a position to frame issues. So that they expect. That is standard national level moot court competitions. You should frame issues. Say, for example, whether petitioner has a whether the PIL filed by the petitioner is maintainable. For example, uh, petitioner has approached the Supreme Court when your fundamental rights are violated. So you file a writ petition or a PIL if you're a public spirited person under Article 32 of the Indian Constitution, that is right to constitutional remedy. So the first issue is whether the writ petition or the PIL filed by the petitioner is maintainable. This is one issue. So how does this skill of framing issue comes? That is by thorough reading the facts. So once the mood problem is given, you should thoroughly read the facts and you should get well acquainted with the facts of the mood problem. So what I used to do is I used to get a printout of the mood problem. If the mood problem is into 4 or 6 or be whatever the page number it is, I used to get that printout and I used to take my highlighter pencil. Two printouts I used to take because you never know when you go for moot court competitions, you may represent as a petitioner, I mean advocate for the petitioner side, I mean counsel for the petitioner side, or counsel from the respondent side. You never know because there'll be drawing of lots and you should pick a chit. And if the chit says that you should represent petitioner, suddenly you should be ready. You should be ready with your arguments from the petitioner side. And if the chit says that you should represent respondent, suddenly you should be in a position of having uh, ready-made arguments from respondent side. This is the beauty and that very well designed uh, activity that is moot court, because as an advocate I know before a day that which case I'm going to appear from which side. Either it will be plaintiff or the defendant. But in moot court competitions, what actually happens is first round you'll be appearing for petitioner side, and second round again change, maybe respondent side. That is the beauty of this, game, this activity. Very dynamic and very, you know, informative, knowledgeable activity which law schools design and they conduct. That is moot court. And what you should do is once you get the moot problem, take two printouts. One should be for the petitioner side and another one should be for the respondent side. So while reading the facts, first for the first three readings, don't mark anything. Just read the facts, both from the petitioner side as well as the respondent side. Don't mark for first three readings. After three readings, what you should do is take a pencil, highlighter. If you are preparing from petitioner side, mark the points which you want to mark, which will help you as a counsel for petitioner, which is supporting your case. You know, that you should mark in the petitioner side facts printout. Same applies to respondent side. When you read, just mark, okay, this is the fact which is going to help me. So I'll give you an example also. I just raised one issue whether the writ petition filed by the petitioner is maintainable. So when you argue in this way that, your lordship, it is humbly submitted that the writ petition filed by the petitioner is maintainable under Article 32 of the Indian Constitution. May I draw your lordship's attention to Article 32 of the Indian Constitution. It says about constitutional remedies, and you will read the bail provision and you cite a citation which says that his writ petition is maintainable because his fundamental right was violated by so and so act. So this is the way you present. No? So you should be acquainted with the fact, and in that fact sheet, for example, it says that the petitioner's right to privacy was infringed by Section 5 of Aadhaar Act. And from petitioner's side, you should mark this fact because judge will ask you, counsel, which fact or which uh, para of the moot problem. Please take us to that para or line of the moot problem, which says that the fundamental right of the petitioner was violated. You should be ready with your answer. That is the reason you should read multiple times and mark from petitioner side these facts, from respondent side these facts. So that time you should just say, Your Lordship, may I draw your attention to paragraph number 6, and you should read the line. And you shouldn't be very aggressive when you participate in this food court competition. You should be very polite, very convincing. You should be very convincing, and this is the this is the place where you develop skill of advocacy. I earlier told that why we should take part in moot court competition was a question which I asked. For that answer is you will develop the skill of advocacy. If you are aiming to become an advocate, be it High Court advocate, Supreme Court advocate, trial court advocates, you should participate in moot court competition because it develops the skill of advocacy. What happens is if you don't involve in this process of moot court competition and directly you go before courts and you're like, no, I can speak in the court. See, for 5 years, from first year to last year, if you have participated in moot court competitions, you have been grilled up, you have been, uh, shot up by many questions. And ultimately, after your graduation, that is after LLB, if you go and practice before any courts, you will be very confident to argue your case. Same happened with me. I took part in many moot court competitions. Even in COVID period, moot court competitions were held online. I took part in that competitions just because no, I was mentally fixed that I want to become an advocate. So what helps me to become an advocate is this moot court competition because it develops skill of advocacy, that way of argument, the way you can convince judges and fluency, English, knowledge. No, it's a very, very, very good activity. Please take part in moot court competitions. Even if you're a first year student, can take the help of your seniors, you can take the help of your teachers. Ask them, or if no everyone are engaged, if they are busy or if they are not responding, you know, you can just mail me or take my contact number, discuss with me moot problems. But please take part in this moot court competitions because it is very much necessary if you are aiming to become an advocate, as well as not only advocate, if you want to build up your curriculum vitae, CV, resume. Because once you apply for some firms, law firms, or anything, they just say you or ask you to send your CV. So how to build up your resume is by taking a part in this academic activities like moot courts, paper presentations, publishing research papers. In that, moot court stands first because it's a very recognized competition, and please take part in national moot court competitions because you know uh, when you get into the field, I mean when you're into this profession, it helps you a lot. That is the thing. And I will tell the coordinator to send the moot memorials, I mean demo moot memorials, because once after reading these facts of the case, you are supposed to frame issues, as I told. After framing issues, you need to draft the moot memorial. So what you should do is always in every moot court competition, there'll be one prize for best memorial. So to bag that best memorial, what you should do is just see top moot court memorials. Well, some moot memorials drafted by National Law University students, very well drafted, very nicely drafted. See that memorials, read that memorials, how well it is drafted, and download it. I'll also send, if there's a group, I'll tell Akshay to send it, so that you read both the memorials from petitioner side as well as the respondent side, how well they have drafted. Because For every round, your memorial marks are added. So that is the reason memorial drafting is very much necessary. So what you should do is after reading moot court problem, that is facts, frame issues, and for every issue, start drafting. You should draft a moot court memorial. And to draft, what is very much necessary is that your legal language. Moot court has its own language. So this is the reason I told that we will send you few moot court memorials, and on that moot court memorials, we will discuss how to draft, how to frame issues, how to read facts exactly, and how to uh, write the prayer also, because at the end of the moot court memorial you should write the prayer and everything. Moot court memorial consists of everything: the presentation paper, index, list of authorities, and list of books you have referred, issues, and summary of arguments advanced. In that, you'll be covering issues and you'll be drafting it from your point of contention with the help of citations. And also, how to prepare a compendium. Compendium is nothing but you have referred at least 50 to 60 cases. So that cases you should download it and you should give it to the judge. I mean, when you participate in mock court competition, it will be, you know, leaving an impression on your team that you have done good research. So that is the reason we used to prepare compendiums also. So before everything, preparation of moot court memorial is must and should, and it should be very well drafted, which I am going to teach you in coming classes, because since it's an introductory class, I'm just you know making you familiar with the concept of moot court and how it should be taken. So before that, I guess everyone has this habit of reading newspapers, especially the Hindu. Only non-political news you should read, and also the legal news which they write in the editorial column. Because if you read that, so say for example, tomorrow you go before a moot court, you are participating in a moot court competition, and there is a question asked. What happens is you should be in a position to answer it very nice, so that you will win the trophy. For that, please be acquainted with the present news, what is happening. Don't overstep the process of you know preparation of this moot court. Please be acquainted with the facts once the moot court problem is given. Never ever take it lightly. Read the facts of the moot court problem 10 times. Frame issues. Under that, whatever the cases you refer, please at least read what happened in that case, what was the judgment in that case. So what normally happens in the moot court is, if you refer to a judgment, say for example, you have referred to uh, Puttaswamy's case, 2017. Justice K.S. Puttaswamy versus Union of India. He was the person who challenged the Aadhaar Act, because there was so much of uh, privacy violations, because government had given the control of your privacy, I mean your data, to intermediaries who are not even under the control or radar of central government or state government. He felt it that it is not correct. He challenged the provisions of Aadhaar Act. Then Supreme Court in that case held that right to privacy is an intrinsic part of Article 21, that is right to life and personal liberty. So now right to privacy is a part of your fundamental right under Article 21. So this was the verdict of Supreme Court in that case. Now tomorrow there's a moot court problem, which is, say there's a IT rules. Take for example IT rules. in one of the IT rule, it says that the intermediaries have exclusive control over the data of users of so and so social media apps. And they say that this is done in the interest of general public and in the larger interest of public and also security of state. Now, what will be as a petitioner? Now, this was the fact. Now you are fact. There's a fact in your head that this rule so and so, which is stated in the Moot problem, it says that intermediaries has exclusive control over data of users of social media platform. This should run in your head, and you have framed the issue on this. That is whether rule, say for example, rule 7 of the IT rules violates right to privacy, question mark. That is second issue. Now your contention is, it is submitted that, I mean, it is humbly submitted that rule 7 and 8 violates right to privacy. And next, you say that the in para number 7 of the Moot problem, it is the clear case that rule 7 and 8 states that the intermediaries have exclusive control over the data of the users of social media platforms, and without any reasonable ground, the government has handed over so much of authority on these intermediaries, and these intermediaries are not under control of the central government as well as state government. So my petitioner's right to privacy is infringed. So fact, issue, law, citation. Citation is Supreme Court in Justice case Puttaswamy versus Union of India has held that right to privacy is a intrinsic part of Article 21 of the Indian Constitution. Right to privacy is a fundamental right, and this is how you begin your arguments, and your contention will be this, that this rule is arbitrary in nature and it violates my right to privacy, which is very well, you know, it is very well established by this case that right to privacy is a fundamental right. My fundamental right is violated. Therefore, I humbly pray before this honorable court that kindly declare Rule 7 and 8 as unconstitutional. This should be your submission. This is the way you should take part in moot court competitions. Obviously, we'll be doing moot court sessions also by giving you a problem and making you to argue on that. No, this is how this course is designed. It will be a very interactive course, as well as you enjoy a lot because you will become you know uh, an advocate uh, while studying law. I mean, you are at law schools, you are studying law, doing your LLBs, so you'll be having an opportunity of becoming an advocate pre-enrollment. So it's a very good opportunity for you. So we'll be having these sessions. I'll give you some problems so that you should come up with some issue and you should do a thorough draft on it. And you, I'll be judge. You should argue before me. I'll ask you questions and I'll say where to improve, how to improve. And even if you're taking part in any national moot court competitions, you can just uh, take part in it. And if you need any assistance, you can take my number and you can take my mail ID also, so that you can just send me a mood problem through WhatsApp, and we can talk and discuss on that mood problem as to how to prepare for it, what are the materials you should research. And when I say about research, research plays a very important role when it comes to mood court. And in moot court, A team consists of three people. Two will be mooters, that is, two will be advocates, I mean, counsels, mooters. They are called as mooters. Uh, just type it for you. They are called mooters. Uh, team it, team consists of three members, and two people are mooters, and one one guy will be the researcher. So two will be mooters and one guy will be the researcher. And the role of this researcher is to, do research on the point of law and help you mooters to argue well. This is the role of the mooter. So what you should do is when
Can you,
you
sorry for the interruption. Sir, can you please again let us know what is the role of the researcher? Because researcher means like that person would be researching on the case law or the problem which has been given,
mm,
and he or she would be like researching the case laws or other things to help us in guiding.
mm, mm,
So this is one point. So is
mm.
there any other thing also which would help via researcher?
See, what happens is, yes, ma'am, this will be the one important thing which you'll be doing. Obviously, motors also they do research, but the researcher exclusively will be involved in this research process. That is, he will be finding you some case laws, he will be finding you some point of law, some articles, making you, well acquainted with all the development, Supreme Court cases, High Court cases, everything. So apart from this, when you go to moot court competition or when you participate in moot court competition, the only person who helps you when you are stuck is researcher. What happens is in moot court competition, there is something called as chits. There'll be chits, paper. What researcher does is he'll be having the paper ready. Researcher means he is a person who is well acquainted with everything. This is a presumption. He'll be well acquainted with the facts of the case, issues, because he's the person who has done exclusive research on this. He is acquainted with the issues, he is acquainted with the all the drafting which you have done, both from the petitioner side as well as the respondent side. He knows the case laws. So with this presumption, in moot court competitions, what happens is, say for example, I am a mooter. I am, telling that your lordship, the judge has already asked a question. How do you say that your right to privacy has violated? Because the rule which has been done is to protect your privacy, and it is done in the larger uh, general public interest, in the protection of national security as well as you know public morality, public order, everything. Judge will ask you some random question and you're stuck. I'll be thinking, now, the role of researcher is he'll be having a paper chit. So he writes in that and he passes. What happens is the court officer, they take the chit and give it to you. Now I read the chit. Okay, he has written some answer. So I'll read that and I'll say, Your Lordship, I'll say that this is the contention of mine, that the exclusive control to the intermediaries itself is unreasonable because it violates all the tests laid down under Article 21 of the Indian Constitution, which was very well discussed in Justice K.S. Puttaswamy's case. So this was the answer I got it from the researcher. So researcher is not supposed to, argue in the moot court competitions. His only and only uh, work is to assist you in all the research works. When you're stuck, he's the person who gives his hand for you to come up and argue well in the moot court competition. I hope, ma'am, I have cleared your doubt.
Yes, sir. To an extent, it is very much understandable. But it is only in the moot court. The researcher's job is only in the moot court, or it actually happens in the court also.
No, no, courts, ma'am, researcher job is
Yeah, yeah, that's yeah.
there,
So
there,
that's what my point was. Like since
no,
nowhere
no,
in the
no,
court I have never seen or I have never heard that researchers are
no,
there.
no,
So,
no, ma'am. Actually, what happens is, ma'am, there's a post, I mean, a job called as researcher in high courts. I mean, judges recruit researchers because these people will work exclusively on researching things. So when judges write judgments, I mean, I am saying only with respect to High Court and Supreme Court, there'll be researchers, uh, clerk come researcher, there'll be a post. What these people do is they research and it's, say for example, a high court judge has given some point of law for research. I research it and give back to him. So this will researchers are there, but in actual courts there are no researchers because we advocates what we do is if there is a case and if we want a citation, we only research. Now we play a dual role. We are advocates, we argue as well as we only research. So every advocate is a researcher and he should be a researcher because your contention or your point of submission should be well backed with the case law, with a citation. So we only research, ma'am. No, daily we research and our seniors they call us, they give some uh, point of law which they want. What we do is we open our laptops, we have access with the SSC online, Manupatra. There are various online platforms where you get citations. You should research. This is a skill which you should develop because once you go to courts, if you start practicing, your senior says that get me a case law on this. You should open laptops, you should open PCs, whatever you have. You should be in a position to research. And the skill of research develops here when you take part in moot court competitions. You research. If you even if you're a motor, you are supposed to research. So this is how when you become an advocate. Before that, whatever efforts you put by way of taking part in moot court competitions will make you something. You'll be a very good researcher. You'll be a very good arguing advocate. You'll be having knowledge about everything, and you'll get that professional discipline how to behave in court. That is why everyone should take part in moot court competitions.
basically it would help to basically make us well acquainted with our profession.
Yes, ma'am. So it makes us well acquainted with the profession and it gives you that level of confidence so that once you finish your LLB, if you get your enrollment in the State Bar Council, the next day you go to the court and the first day your senior says appear for this case and do this submission, seek an adjournment. So if you're everyone, ma'am, it like will be scared, no? First day or at least for the first 2 months will be scared. What happens in moot court is imaginary thing. I mean, this is all just there are judges. Now we are arguing before actual judges. Uh, so to get that level of confidence, that level of professionalism, you should take part in this moot court competition because you get that skill of advocacy by taking part in moot court competitions. So it develops you like anything. I can say that in, from all the angles, it helps you. Uh, as well as in drafting also, it helps you because once you go to practice, you are supposed to draft plaints, written statements, notices, petitions, writ petitions, regular first appeals, regular second appeals, many things, deeds, agreements. So if you are, good at drafting. I mean, at least you are able to draft in the moot court competitions. It will help you in your career, in your profession as well. You'll be a good draftsman. So this is not a week or a month or a year process. It comes from practice. I mean, I all suggest you that at least for now, uh, take an oath that you'll participate in a national level moot court competitions. Not if you don't get opportunities, if there is an opportunity by your college itself that there's an intra moot court college, or there'll be a specific subject called as moot court. Take part in that, participate in moot court competitions. And apart from that, obviously, we'll be conducting that. We'll make a teams or we'll give uh, problem individually so that you're able to argue on it. You'll develop that uh, skill of advocacy. We will do it, and uh, we will assist you how to prepare moot court memorials, how to uh, pick issues, how to make issues, how to draft a memorial. No, very systematically, if you draft a memorial, it leaves an impression in the minds of organizers of that moot court competition that yes, this is the team that's done best memorial, good research. So this is how uh, moot court runs. Recently, I was a judge in national moot court competition. I judged preliminary quarterfinals, semifinals, 3 rounds. I saw various teams, and it was fantastic. Uh, students when they participate in such moot court competitions, the level of research they have done, it was so nice, such a good experience. So I presume that you're all interested in this moot court activity. Please take part in this moot court activities. Apart from this course, leave about this course. We teach you, we guide you. But after this course, if there's an opportunity and if there's a call from your college and that please take part in this moot court competition, opt for it. Or personally, if you have a team, form a team of 3 members, one researcher and two mooters. Two mooters who is very good at speaking, one researcher who's very good at researching. So pick a team, form a team, say for your principal or college authority that you want to participate in this moot court competition. Go participate in that moot court competition. Don't think of winning or losing because ultimately you'll be learning a lot of things. Lot of things you'll be making friends. You will see real competition in the market. Many things. You learn many things. So please take part in moot court competition. And this is what I wanted to convey this first class that moot court competitions are academic activity and please take part in it because it develops no can't even explain it makes you something else. You'll be a very good advocate when you come into the system. When you think of practicing in future, it helps you a lot. It gives you so much of knowledge and you'll develop so much skills. You know? Please take part in the book competition. Apart from this, if you have any questions, I'll be very happy to answer those questions.
Sir, what will be the content of the this whole course? Because up till now we have only discussed about the moot court competitions.
Mm,
So apart from this, what will be the content of the course? Like since yesterday we just got an overview, like how the court works and what all. So now, now today you have briefed us about the moot court competitions. So.
mm.
Apart further to this, like what will be the curriculum that we will be getting?
I get it. See, ma'am, actually, when we speak about moot court, it involves many things. One is drafting, one is how to read the moot court problem, how to frame issues, and after framing issues, how to research, where to research, how to draft. This entire process is divided into 12 modules, and these 12 modules, uh, we we are of three members in a team, and we engage this entire moot court activities. And every step you are required to submit your progress. And say, for example, today we are discussing about stages of moot court competition. So I'll just tell you the stages of moot court competition and how actually it runs, and I'll give you a homework so that you should do homework and you should send it to me so that there'll be a evaluation as to how much you understood. So just by participating in moot court, you can't develop this. There should be a mentor. For me, we had a very good mentors like our teachers, our seniors, they used to assist us. So now my role is to assist you. My role is to make you get well acquainted with this process of moot court competition, because ma'am, preparing a moot court memorial is not that easy. The presentation paper, research, framing of issues, all the contentions, prayer, how, what, when, any questions are there. So entire, ma'am, this process is scheduled. Uh, I guess at least for 1.5 month or 1 month. So we have divided the modules for ourselves. So we'll be teaching you. Plus, there'll be a one-to-one interactive sessions. And when it comes to moot court, I'll also tell you which source to rely on, because you can't rely on some third-party sources. You should rely on also standard sources when it comes to research. You should rely on SSC Online, Manupatra. Simply getting information from third-party websites are not that, they don't give a good impression in national level moot court competitions. So what exactly we are going to learn is, no ma'am, if you see the brochure, it's well designed, and from reading a moot court problem to arguing your case from both the sides. Every step of this moot court activity will be taught to you in a very interactive way. I guess this is how the course is designed. So it is designed very nicely, and if there is, I guess Akshay has even made it clear that you'll you'll be interacted with few people who have taken part in various moot court competitions, who have won moot court competitions. It will be a very interactive session, and this is how it is. We have planned like this one. So if
Fine,
there
sir.
are,
Fine. Thanks a lot.
yeah, if there are any other things, let me know. And this will be my contact number. So if you have any issues with respect to moot court, uh, and also the process of this moot court competition, or you're stuck somewhere, you're like, I'm not getting exactly what to do. I'm not having a proper moot court memorial, or please, assist me in this moot court competition. If you feel so, just drop me a message. This is my number, and I'll also drop my uh, email also, so that you can mail your problem. So this is my mail ID. So you can get in touch with me. I mean, you can text me as well as you can mail me. Uh, if out of curiosity, today if you find a moot court problem, just read that moot court problem. You can send me. You can ask as many questions as you can in next class. What, how to read, or you're stuck somewhere. How to overcome that problem. How to develop that skill. So I'll tell Akshay to do one thing. I'll share a moot court problem. So you should read that, and in the next class, we'll at least discuss the steps of the moot court problem, how a moot memorial should be, how it should be drafted, how to develop that skill of reading facts of the moot court problem, how to mark it, everything. So I'll tell him, I'll send him a moot court problem. It's a national moot court competition problem. So I'll share it so that you can read, and in next class we'll discuss. So if there are any other doubts, please let me know. Akshay, are you there?
हाँ यस सर, किसी को भी कोई भी डाउट है प्लीज।
So if
ओके
there are, yeah, if there are no doubts, we'll end the session and we'll schedule it for tomorrow. I will be sharing a moot court problem for you, Akshay. Please share it to them so that let them read today and we'll discuss about it tomorrow.
ओके ओके गाइस, तो सेशन एंड करते हैं। ओके सर।
Yes, we'll end the session.
यस।